How you guys doing? Welcome back to Conversations Over Chess. The woman that's stopping by the podcast today is, I'm literally in awe. I have a list of notes for this introduction, and just the introduction alone, you'd be like, okay, what's going on? She does too much stuff. So, first off, before I introduce my host, I want to say be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because helping out this channel is how it grows. So, the person that's dropping by the show to have a conversation owns her own podcast. Be sure to check out Loving Life by Lerubi Lopez on all platforms, especially YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. She's also a teacher, an artist, a model, an actress. She's a health connoisseur. She was a finalist for the New York City sauce competition. She deals in the personal development space. She's a cancer survivor. But one of the main important titles that she holds is a mother of two beautiful young girls. You might have seen her on Citizens commercial back in 2019 or tearing up a karaoke stage singing her lungs out, but tonight you're watching her on Conversations Over Chess podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Lerubi Lopez.
Wow.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much. How are you?
I cannot complain, won't complain. How is your day going?
It's going amazing. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm like, how did you find out so many things about me?
I try.
You brought me back. The sauce competition?
Yes,
Oh my God.
Man, I had to do my research. But no, to make sure everybody's educated, they're like, yo, how did you find out these things? Are you calling people? No, I do the same thing. I want to link to the camera. I do the same thing. I just go to your Instagram and just scroll all the way to the bottom.
Wow.
I scroll to the bottom and work my way up because then I can see the chronological order of your life and what you showed the world. Yes. And a lot of people might just go off of just one time stamp of the photo, but I want to dig behind what was going on behind the photo. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go a lot of different places in this interview. First off, I always want to start off by saying thank you. Because I'm big on time, and you're giving me this 45 minutes to an hour that you will never get back again in life. So I just want to always give my grace to say thank you for giving me your time. All right?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. And what happened to me, I wanted to make sure that I can share with the world.
Yes.
So that people that need help and don't see a way at all to make it through, they can see that there is a way, and the grass will be greener on the other side.
And that's what this platform is for us, and each one teach one, right? And I want an individual audience member to walk away from here that might be going through cancer right now, that might be dealing with X, Y, and Z, that might have daughters that are just running wild and going crazy, to learn from you and what you did right or what you might have did wrong. Mm-hmm. Out of all the titles that I've named off and all the things that you did, because you're multifaceted, what is one of the ones that is most important to you?
It would have to be being a mom.
Okay.
Being a mom, I would say, for my personal life. I love my daughters, and obviously having my daughters just grounded me into a new and different direction in my life. You know, when you have kids, I mean, I don't know if you have kids.
I don't have kids. I'm the uncle of the year, but I have 8 combined nieces and nephews. And I tell people often that my niece, sorry, she's my favorite, but she's the reason why I inhale and exhale. She was born November 18th of 2009. My mother died December 11th, 2009. So where there was life, there was death for me. But she's the reason why I inhale and exhale. But why are they so most important for you, those little girls, and being a mother?
They're so important for me, not even just the cancer journey, which they were a big help, but because I always thought I can't give up. I have my daughters.
Yes.
But also even before the cancer journey, my girls have always been that motivation for me to keep moving forward. Even when I felt down or oh, am I ever going to be an actor? Or oh, what am I doing with my life? Am I in the right direction? It was always Lerubi, the girls are waiting for you.
Yes, and that's one thing from not knowing you from a hole in the wall. That's something that I learned from you, is that she might not know this, but hopefully that I can educate her and just be that eye opener for you. But everything that you're doing is directly showing them, mommy can do it, so I can do it too. Wow. And I don't know if that's a conscious or some subconscious thing of yours, but literally you're doing a lot of things and you've done it all, right? But it shows them directly that, hey, mommy could be an actress, I can be an actress. Mommy could sing on karaoke, I can sing. And to have 2 little ones, because it's a little bit different when you have a young boy, but to have 2 of yourselves coming up after you, that makes the difference, because if they can see it, they can be it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now it's time to pay these bills.
This episode is brought to you by Legendary Apparel by Kimaj the Creator. Don't let the fly name or my fly fit fool you. Legendary Apparel is a one-stop shop for all streetwear and essentials. Outside of the items that I'm wearing, he also offers bags, sweatsuits, shoes, canvases. You name it, he has it. Also, you're in for a treat. If you use the promo code COCP, which stands for Conversations Over Chess Podcast, you'll get free shipping. I repeat, free shipping. Also, be sure to visit his website. Link in the description or up on the screen. Be sure to give him a follow at _creator, KREATOR. Forget staying thirsty, my friends. Stay legendary. Legendary Apparel, the presenting sponsor of Conversations Over Chess. Peace.
Now back to the podcast.
Felt it like when I was pregnant with Isabella,
Yeah.
my first daughter.
Shout out to Isabella.
Shout out. Angie, you too. Please don't get jealous.
Mommy doesn't have a favorite yet.
I don't have. You both are special to me. Like, so special.
All parents have to say that.
But when I was pregnant with Isabella, I remember, like, before the pregnancy, I had dropped out of Hunter College because I said, I'm not finishing my last semester. I'm going to go out in New York City and become the model, become the actor.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to school. And then as I'm in the pregnancy, I'm like, I had this epiphany. I'm like, oh, my God, if I don't go to college, I cannot tell this baby to go to college. I'm going to have to go now.
You have
like,
to show
oh,
him.
my God. So then I went back. And I had to finish a semester, but I fell in love with sociology.
Okay.
Because my major is actually theater.
Hey, okay.
But I fell in love with sociology, so I did an extra year of just sociology classes.
All right.
And that was amazing. And now I can say, yeah, girls, go to college. It's
Definitely
important. I did it. So, like, you know, to the point that you were saying, I feel that if I can do something, I'm showing them, basically. Because I'm their first role model.
Exactly. Who was that role model for you? Because preparing for interview, I seen that you have a close-knit family. Your father and mother was there for you. And it seems like a very close-knit capacity. Were they your first models, and outside of them, who were role models for you?
Wow. Yeah, I think, wow. Oh, my God. Yeah, definitely, like, both my parents, obviously, my mom and my dad, but my mom, too, like, I don't want to say more. Oh my God.
It's all right as you cry. I cry on this show all the time. Anybody that watches, they know I cry because it has to be shown because, again, like I told you before we start, I want the raw authenticity of this because irregardless, they can see my aunt, my cousin, my niece, my nephews, the world can see that there's a 28-year-old black man crying, being vulnerable, and it's okay. Right? That doesn't take away from my masculinity. Doesn't take away that I was a college football. Like, it's okay. So that's why I always tell people, like, just be yourself. It's all right. If you got to cry, it's okay to cry.
I don't know. It's just like my mom has always shown me, like, my dad too, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because, like, she's a woman.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's always, like, been, like...
She's been there. She's just
crawling. Like, if she can't walk or run, she's going to crawl. And she's still going to get to the finish line.
And how subconscious was that of you to say, hey, look, I seen a mother who had to go get it out the mud by any means necessary to make sure I was okay?
Yeah.
I'm doing the same for my girls now. Is it a direct correlation or was it like, I just know that I had to do that?
I feel like it's a subconscious, like, direct correlation. Mm-hmm. And then it even goes deeper to, like, my ancestors.
Yes.
That I've never met. Like, it goes deeper to, like, my mom's mom. And then their mom and the mom and the mom and the mom. And, like,
and it's just a trickle-down effect.
It trickled down to, like... And I had this realization this week, and I was telling a friend over the phone where... I needed to be the one, or I was the chosen one, to show, like, in my lineage...
Yes.
That if you're not... I don't know if this is, like, the topic of what we're talking about today, but if you're not, like, happy in a relationship, then you shouldn't just be with a person due to, like, finances or family, which can be great. Depends what story you're writing, right?
No, for sure.
But for me, I felt like I was the chosen one of, like, I needed to show my family and my ancestors and myself that you still have to feel respected and loved. And because you already give that to
Yeah,
yourself.
of course.
So whoever you're with in your life, it has to mirror that. And
Definitely.
it's okay to like let go. So that was
It's
something that I had to like, I
that's
felt like I was
something
the
that I
chosen
talk
one for
about.
that.
That's something that I talk about all the time is that our parents' generation, let's just say the 50 and up, right? They didn't understand that there was around the corner a 6'10" LeBron James that was named Billy Earl. They just seen Mr. Cletus Johnson and fell in love with him at 13 years old and stayed with him
Right.
for the rest of their lives. That's
Yes.
our parents' generation. We have accessibility, swiping right and swiping left, to see that there is a 6'9" French gentleman that does love and care about me, and he's going to go to hell and back for me.
Right.
But the thing about it is that we have that accessibility. Our older generation did not. And I often question, is that why they stayed? Or is it because they saw that their parents stayed? Or is it because that her mom endured getting beat? Is it because his father endured being like, there's so many things
But
that I
something
often
else that I'm
wonder.
starting to think of why they stayed is because like in that time culturally, the idea was that women are going to stay home, take care of the kids, and clean the house.
Yes.
But then now, in the present time, these modern times, as women, we were able to go to college. We
Yes.
were able to go get a job in, in the work field where you may be able to sustain yourself on your own.
Exactly. And I tell people, and I'm going on a quick rant, but
So
I
it's like
tell
more
gentlemen,
differences. So, yeah.
these women do not need us. And what I mean by that is that don't ever get it effed up. She's getting higher educated than us. She's got her own bag now. She's self-sufficient, and pretty soon she's gonna learn how to have a baby on her own. So you better do right, man. I'm looking at the camera. You better do right by your queen. Take it from an individual who did not. You
Oh
better
man,
do right by
I'm
your queen
sorry.
because somebody else will either do better or she'll go on to do great, wonderful things without you. Ran over.
Yeah, and I don't know if I wanted to get this personal, but it's sort of like what happened to me. I became a single mom.
And that was going to be a question that I had on this list, and we could jump to that now, only if you're feeling comfortable enough to
Sure.
speak of that. Is that God preparing for an interview? I seen that you were engaged, or at least proposed to, back in 2015. You have
Yes.
2 children now. I don't know if it's from the same. Doesn't matter, but you are not currently engaged. If you're comfortable, what happened there? Because it's each one teach one platform to say, "Run, girl, he did X, Y, and Z." So, right, but what happened there? What was your journey of love?
I mean, that's like a very long story, but I'm gonna try to like see what I pick up. Like, oh my God. I fell in love and
Now it's time to pay these bills.
Think global, act local. The World Is Yours offers the coolest men's fashion and accessories at 104 William Street in Newburgh, New York, my hometown. It's also available at theworldizyours.com. That is WRLDIZYORZ.com. Be sure to use the discount code COCP, which stands for Conversations Over Chess Podcast, to get 10% off. I repeat, 10% off all of your purchases. Again, World Is Yours, WRLDIZYORZ.com. 10% discount code on the screen. Get you some.
Now back to the podcast.
we got engaged.
Okay.
We were together. We had our 2 daughters. But then somewhere along the lines, it didn't work out.
At whose fault? And I mean that in the sense of, did he do something wrong? Did he step out? I stepped out of my relationship, sadly to admit. So is it something in that regard, or is it more of a we just stopped loving each other, which is okay. A lot of people have to understand that. So what is it?
So I don't think that we stopped loving each other. I think it was more like I saw certain things in his personality that I didn't see before that I was not okay with.
Yeah.
Like in not the personality and the actions.
Yes.
I guess your personality leads to your actions. So I saw things there that I was not okay with, that I was
Okay.
not willing to
Accept,
tolerate
yes.
and accept. And I thought, wait a minute. If I'm in my 20s right now and I have my daughters, I still have a life. The girls are having a life with me and they're going to have a life.
Yes.
What life do I want my life to be like?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what do I want it to? I'm like, is this what I want?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm the chosen one. It starts with me. If I'm not okay with what's happening, then
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to the cultural
Norm.
of like, oh, you must stay for the kids. Your life is over. People would tell me, Lerubi, you're pregnant. Your life is over. Why
Yeah.
did you do that? Weren't you trying to become a model or actor? Like, You know, they were like, what are you doing? And I just felt like, no, life doesn't have to be over. So I saw that we ended up breaking up.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the right thing to do. And then getting back to the story of like what women can do now.
Yeah.
After that breakup, then that's where
Life took
I'm
off.
sorry to say, but like I don't know why
She
my
elevated
face-
without you. Whoever you are, she elevated. I'm saying it. I'm putting words in her mouth. She leveled up without you. Simple and plain.
You know, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything.
Yeah.
Like not in a bad way.
Of course.
But I don't know. Like I worked hard. I didn't sleep. I went through a lot, and I don't know. I got to,
you overcame and you persevered.
I
And one thing that I want to
persevered.
touch
I
on
don't
is
know.
a
Yeah.
few things. Is that
God
one?
help me. I mean,
No, shout out to God.
shout out, please. Like I didn't do this by myself. Like, no.
No, a whole lot of prayer and a whole lot of hard work.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to point out is what you said is that anytime the characteristic traits, I often tell people anytime that my words match my actions, me and my girlfriend was good. College sweetheart, we were fine. The moment that those two did not coexist, babe, I wasn't in Philly. I'm in Philly doing the wrong thing, stepping out. Your location shows Philly. I promise you I'm not in Philly. I'm in Philly the whole time. Anytime the actions does not align with his words, those characteristic traits, it's run is what she said. Also,
to.
and the other thing I want the audience to pick up, I hope you guys are taking notes, is that she chose herself and her kids, irregardless of the norm, irregardless of 100
mentioned
gazillion
that.
years of a Latina woman that came, irregardless of family, mom, pressure, she chose herself and her kids. Hope you're taking notes.
That's actually something that I say. I gave that advice to someone recently. They were like, they were like, everything's going wrong in my life. I have so much work. I'm having issues with their kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna give you in one sentence the advice that you need to hear, if you're ready for it. I don't want to tell you what to do. They're like, what? I'm like, choose yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. Choose yourself, and God will help you align and find a way.
Yeah.
Because whoever is supposed to be in your life will be.
One thing I wanted to ask too is
yeah.
that, and I apologize for cutting you
That's
off,
all right.
is how hard was it to choose yourself? Because I'm sure that's going to be a question that an
It was
audience
hard.
member. And then talk about those times when you are down and out and it's just you crying and it's just like, I got this, but I chose this. I want to know about those two right there.
It was so hard to choose myself. But I felt inside of me like that fire, that courage to do it.
Okay.
I'm like, I need to choose myself, not just for myself, but for my girls.
Yeah.
And I remember like asking God, like, what am I going to do? Am I doing the right decision? And I actually have a video on my YouTube channel where I share the story of like the revelation that I got from God to leave the relationship.
Okay.
He showed it to me clearly that it was time to go. So once God showed it to me, that's it. Like I gave up, and I knew that I gave up on the relationship, and I knew that it was time to go. And I'm crying, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what do I do? Like, is this the right thing? And one day I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I see Tony Robbins.
Oh, that's my God.
Yeah.
Tony
Isn't he
Robbins.
amazing?
He is, really.
Great motivational speaker.
He's one of like my top three. Les Brown, obviously E.T., Eric Thomas, and then Tony
Yes.
Robbins. Those three right there of like, they'll get you motivated.
Oh my God. I needed it. I needed it.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling and I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this the man that I've seen on book covers across the street from Hunter College? I'm like, it's him, Tony Robbins. I'm like, what? There's an event?
evolution.
Oh my God. I'm going through this difficult moment in my life. This is what I need because everyone keeps telling me that my life is over, that I got pregnant, that I have kids now.
Yeah.
But is it over? I'm like, what if there's people in the world? My mind was closed. This is me. These are my thoughts. I'm like, what if there is people in the world that have kids and they still become successful?
Yeah.
Does that exist? I'm telling you, I was at the lowest to the lowest. I didn't even believe if it was possible to move forward. I'm like, how in the world? Because, you know, when you have kids, they
Life
take
is
up all the
different.
time. Life is different.
Life
like
is different.
The breakfast, the lunch, getting them ready for school, signing them up for school. It's just all like
It's
a
a
lot
different
of
world.
your time. What was that?
It's a different world.
It's a different world. Your life is going to be consumed.
Yeah.
Where it was all about me once, it no longer wasn't. I'm like, how am I going to make this work?
And getting a little bit personal with myself, like me being 28, I often think like, all right, I always tell the fellas in the group chat, 30, I gotta get to have a baby because I want to be the old guy at graduation. But I understand the responsibility after being an uncle for so long that you have to be selfless. And at the point in time in my life, I'm still selfish. I like to just get up and go, hey fellas, I'm going to Toronto to get a podcast interview. Go about my
Right.
day, don't
Up and
have to worry
go.
about anything. But that's because it's just myself. When I have another woman that's on my side, I have to be responsible for, and then a child after that, I know that it's a different level of living that I have to have, and then the intentionality of taking care of those two. So I understand that. And then also another thing, again, I might get a little emotional, but I want to get really, really personal in this episode because my
Now it's time to pay these bills.
this episode is brought to you by DJ DMC. For any parties, kickbacks, and weddings, DJ DMC has your back. You can find him on Instagram at DMC the Goat, on Instagram at DMC the Goat. Please be prepared to pay the cost as seen on my shirt. He also makes his clothing line, great premier brand, and be sure to reach out to his Instagram as well at Pay the Cost LLC on Instagram. That is Pay the Cost LLC on Instagram. Get you some.
Now back to the podcast.
Sister she has 6 kids, and I think she had 5 before the age of 25. Both my twin sisters were 16 and pregnant. One stopped at 1 and the other continued on to have 6. And I made a comment that I wasn't too proud of, and I had said to my aunt, we were in South Carolina, I said, Tiana, who has 1, has more chances of making it to be doing great, wonderful things, and it's only because I've only seen out in the world that I've only saw a woman that had 1 or 2 children going to get that PhD, not 6. And my aunt was on my ass about that. How dare you that you ever disrespect And I didn't understand what she was saying that in that moment, but it wasn't until I did a little bit of growing up and soul searching and had to come to Jesus moment that I said, I understand what she's saying. Because in a sense, I almost wrote off my own sister. And how dare I? An individual who's her younger brother, who's supposed to be her protector, all
Words
these
have
things.
power.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I had to realize more than anything is the power of the tongue. And yes, they could be doing better, but when I look back at it, I look at it and flip it on its head now to say, how can I ever say that when she endured more, when I was just living and traveling and
Living,
doing all of
right.
this stuff, she had responsibilities that she took care of better than I could ever imagine. So I apologize to you, TT. I love you, TT, and I love you for everything that you've done, and you're a great, wonderful mother, and you're going to do great, wonderful things.
Oh
So,
my God. Oh my God.
again, wanted to get a little bit deep on that.
Wow.
There's 2 more questions before we pivot into how you had your journey into cancer, and you better get those notes ready. One question that I had written
There's something I
down.
wanted to mention though.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry,
Of course.
don't forget.
No, I got the question, so you're
Yeah.
good.
So from the Tony Robbins experience, by the way, like I even brought him with me to like one of my first events.
Hey.
Because I wanted to save the relationship. I did.
Yeah.
I truly did. But even then, that wasn't enough. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I guess we were not meant to like be forever, but we were meant to give birth like
Yeah.
to these girls.
Yeah, and that's what it's really about. Is once
Yeah.
you give that life to those individuals, right? It's like we have to live for them now.
Absolutely.
Regardless of our relationship, we can hate each other,
Regardless.
But
Yeah.
when they come here, we're cordial.
Yeah.
And it's for them. It's
Let's
not
be
for
civil
us.
for them.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And you know, like even like looking back before I got to the Tony Robbins story, like looking back, I remember feeling in my heart like after, you know, maybe like some time of getting over it, I would look back and I'll be like, you know what? I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful for the individual, for the father of my daughters. I'm thankful for everything he was in my life when he was in my life. And I would thank him. Like I would like in my mind, the words
Yeah.
have power. The mind has power. I'm
Yeah.
like, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for who you were. Thank you for my daughters.
Yeah.
And I'll say I'm like I understand like we can't be together now, but I thank you for everything you were.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for what is to come. And that was like my
Yeah.
mindset.
Definitely.
You know?
Personal question then is one thing my aunt taught me all the time is that you can love somebody, but sometimes you have to love them from afar. Do you still love the individual?
I would say I have love
Yeah.
for them, but
You're not in love.
I don't know if I'm in love because
Okay.
we don't have that
Connection that spark.
intimate relationship and connection
Okay.
that we once did, but we're always going to be connected
Definitely.
for our daughters.
Makes sense.
Even if we're not
In the intimate
in
relationship.
an intimate relationship.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense.
So when I went to Tony Robbins, I did the whole thing. I did Mastery University. I did all these classes,
Okay.
all these seminars, and one of them that has forever stood out. I mean, a lot of them did, but oh my God, this moment in particular was when I had to go up a really, really tall pole,
Okay.
like a cable pole. I don't know what they're called, and you have to like climb up, and that.
Oh, that's like the light, like the electricity, like how they have the
Yeah.
transformers up there, type of thing.
Yeah, and then it has like these things.
Yeah. Little light
and I
poles
had to, like,
outside.
climb them up. Oh my God. And, when they told us, like, oh yeah, so what you guys are going to do today is climb up a really tall cable pole.
Okay.
And you're going to get to the top, and then you're going to jump. Because you have to leave behind whatever has been holding you back. I'm like, oh my God. They're like, you have to leave it behind. And you guys are going to be okay. And this is the start of a new beginning for your life. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, nope. I told the person next to me, I'm like, I'm not climbing that.
So I ain't doing it.
I was like, nope. Are you? No, not me. I'm like, you are. Oh, great. Yeah, please. I'm like, I can't. And I went out there. Obviously, someone ended up convincing me.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I'm like, I don't even have the strength to go up. My body is weak. That was my perception of myself.
Yeah.
I thought my body was like super weak and I had no strength. Meanwhile, I was working out. Like I knew that I needed to keep in movement to get over the breakup. So I was
Staying
like working
active.
out. Yeah, I was like working out like daily at this gym like near my mom's house. I was doing intense small group workouts. I was doing the boxing, the whole thing.
Okay, you was in there. You was getting it in.
But in my mind, I'm weak.
Oh, nah.
I have no strength. So when I look at that, I'm like, when I look at the pole, I'm like, I won't be able to go up. Maybe I'll be able to go up like 5 steps. And then that's it. My body won't reach. It just wouldn't. Finally, I get to it. I start climbing, and
like,
I
"This is
couldn't
easy."
believe it. I was like, oh my God, my body is strong. I'm strong. I can go up.
Yeah.
And I started going up. And in that journey of getting to the top, I spoke to God.
Yeah.
I spoke to God. I spoke to the father of my daughters. And I remember I asked him, it was weird. It was like an out of body experience. And I asked him, I said, why did you leave me? I'm like, why did you come into my life if you knew you were going to leave? Like, why did you leave?
Yeah.
And then in that moment, it was like, I got like this, like, I don't know, like this.
It was like a nirvana.
Yeah, like a nirvana. I was high from life.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is what needed to happen. And then I spoke to God, and I'm like, God, like, why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
And God just made me understand, like, this is what needed to happen. And I went up until I got to the top, like to the last reaching thing.
Yeah.
And then the hard part was
The jump.
Getting off of the pole. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Please. I'm like, please. I'm like, I don't want to get off. How am I going to do this? They were like, Lerubi, but you already made it to the top.
Exactly.
Everyone was telling me, they were all down there. They were like, Lerubi, that's it. And I'm like, but I just can't jump off. And they were like, oh, what is the hold up?
Yeah, what's
in
the
your
restraint?
life? What is the restraint? What is holding you back? Why do you feel like you can get to the top and then not jump off into the success? What is holding you back? So it was like a metaphor. It was like the most
You were living out the metaphor too.
experience that I ever had.
You had to live it and walk through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then finally, after like everyone was like surrounding me there, like I finally found the courage
To jump.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it reminds me in correlations to Will Smith's moment where he had to jump off the helicopter across the Grand Canyon.
That's so scary.
Yeah, tell me about it. But it's just that relief. And one thing that I've been, even on the drive up, I should have tweeted it out so I can actually be a living thing. But I was thinking about how the 3 things I'm afraid of, 2 of them I've overcame. That's snakes. I grew up with snakes. Heights. I went parasailing. I fly all the time. And then death, only because I don't know where I'm going. I made a lot of mistakes. All of that to say is that on the drive up, I kept...
Now it's time to pay these bills.
This episode is brought to you by 10 Toes Clothing Brand. The hottest streetwear from the DC area based on the principle of community, perseverance, and integrity. From the community, for the community. Stand for something or you fall for anything. Shop online at 110toes.com. That is the number 1 TENTOES.com. And follow on Instagram at 110toes LLC. That is the number 1 TENTOES LLC. We are 10 Toes. Get you some.
Now back to the podcast.
I'm thinking, how do I want to be at the top of the mountain but be scared of heights? That's something I kept thinking about the drive up here, the entire drive. I'm like, bro, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
And I mean that in the metaphorical way, in the literal way, like in everything. Like, you can't be saying, I want to be here, not put in the work, but then be afraid to once you get there to get over the hump. Like, it doesn't work. So I often was thinking, I can't be wanting to be at the top of the mountain and be afraid of heights. So that's...
Well, then how do we, get over that?
Exactly. I think for me, myself, more than anything else, it is... I have survivor's remorse. So for me, more than anything else, it's like, okay, I'm making it, but you can take some, not all, with you, right? But it's just more of that. I have to get over that. Like, and I just said it not too long ago, but not everybody can go where I'm going. And that's we're talking about crying on camera. That was one of the things that I was necessarily like in tears about, because I want to take everybody, but I can't. And what God is showing me, what I tell my aunt so frequently is like, Auntie, I'm gonna find a woman that cooks. God has shown me you need to go learn how to cook. I want to go do X, Y, and Z. God has shown me you have to. I want to be loved, Auntie. I'm tired of being single at 28. You have to learn how to love yourself. Like, everything that I'm like, God is showing me, you have to do it yourself. And even in regards of going to the top of the mountain, and whatever that means for me, I have to go do it on my own, and then reach back and say, hey, this is how I did it. This is, yeah, you can come, but sorry you can't because you're doing X, Y, and Z and the nonsense when we were still 12 years old kids. So it's like that, more than anything, is the last little thing that I feel like personally I have to get over. It's just the survivor's remorse.
And like knowing that you can bring everyone with you at all times.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, I don't know if it was like maybe like last week. I was gonna say 2 weeks ago. I think it was last week. I had this epiphany in my house, and I'm like, I can't bring the same thing. I was like, I can't bring everyone with me. Like, as much as I want to, I can't be like attached to my family at all moments.
Yes.
I can't because then I won't work on the things that I need to work on. I need moments to be alone, to work on what I need to work on, to think about what I'm going to execute. Yeah. I need that time.
And one thing that I'm learning from you, because again, like I told you, I learned from everybody, janitor to the CEO, and with this being each one teach one. The one thing that I'm taking away from this, walking away, is that one, I have to choose me, and that on top of that, it's okay in choosing me.
Yes.
And you'll be surprised once you do.
Yes.
So that's above everything else. The questions that I wanted to ask before we pivot to your journey with cancer is, how often does being a strong bilingual Latina woman offend other person's insecurities?
Yes, I mean.
She's, how much time we got? How much time we got?
Like, do I want to mention stories?
Point them out. No, I'm just playing. We'll bleep the name out. How about that?
I mean, I can think about a particular story right now, but I don't want to mention that story.
Okay, it's all right. The other question
how can I explain that to you without mentioning like particular situations?
I say we just switch out characters. Use me. I, X, Y, and Z, Elijah, X, Y, Z. Just use me as the character and switch out the names and switch out the event. So if it was a car accident, say it was a boat accident. If it was this, it was that. Just use my name. That's the only thing I can think of.
Let me see.
Take your time.
In order for me to not say specific, like a
because they gonna know as soon as you say, I was at this nightclub.
That's
so this isn't that platform, so we'll skip that.
So like, I mean, in order to not mention the situations, I can say that when I notice or realize that there's a situation going on where, like, first of all, like, sometimes I don't view myself like that. First of all, let's just get to that.
Okay.
I don't even view myself as like strong or beautiful or bilingual. Like, I forget. I just view myself, Lerubi, a regular person trying to do her thing, trying to make it with goals, ambitions, single mom. I have my daughters, single mom at the moment. Not that I'm trying to be single forever, but you know what I mean?
No,
like,
for sure.
This is me now.
So don't be killing her DMs after this goes up now.
Right?
Don't be up in her DMs now. She said, I'm on the market, but relax.
And so yeah, but thank you for the compliment. But when I see that, I just try to erase it immediately. I immediately erase it. I tell myself another story.
Okay.
And I become positive. I am positive. So I like erase the situation of what the person is trying to say or feel about me because of that
all the
situation.
attributes, yeah.
Because of all the attributes. And then I just end up like focusing on the positive and what I need to do so that I don't give any attention to the negative.
Definitely.
So that I can stay in flow.
Definitely.
Alignment
I like
and
that.
manifestation.
I like that. Let me translate. All you haters, she don't even hear y'all. She don't hear you whatsoever. She in alignment.
Oh.
Period. I'm just playing. No, that's actually pretty cool.
And show kindness.
Yeah. I think that's the best way because I used to get all uptight and then I can show visibly that you got to me, but I learned that killing them with kindness is that the best way. Like, oh, you can't even get to me. And when they see that, it just does something to it. Eats at them a lot. Like, dang, she didn't even knock her off her game. No bump in the step in her role. She just kept on.
I have to keep doing what I need to do. Like, at the end of the day,
yeah,
I have daughters to take care of. At the end of the day, like, I hate to say it, like, but we all have bills to pay, right?
Definitely.
And we all have, like, even more than bills, a purpose to live.
Yes.
So we can't just, like, shut down our light to please everyone.
Yeah.
We can't take everyone on the journey. The chosen ones will follow the chosen, and like sometimes some people are on that boat and some are not.
Definitely.
And you may pass them in the boat and
Yeah. Leave them by the wayside.
Like
For sure.
Now it's time to pay these bills.
This episode is brought to you by Heart and Soul Training. They're the premier sports and basketball training in DMV while also offering training sessions in Delaware and New Jersey. Training athletes of all ages from young kids to even pro athletes. Some pro athletes by the name of Jordan Allen, aka JA to you all, who just hit 13 threes down in Mexico. Also, they trained Martez Robinson, the personnel at Delaware State University, down to a MEAC conference finals. Heart and Soul Training, what are you waiting for? Go check them out. Details in the description or on the screen.
Now back to the podcast.
So shifting gears a little bit, you are a cancer survivor. Yes. My mother was an only child, so the friends of the family that took me in, I call my aunt and uncle. He taught me so much as a man, but he ended up actually passing away from cancer. My cousin, who's his daughter, his only child, has a podcast episode called Cancer is a Bitch, and it is a motherfucker. Talk to about the cancer that you had and then the cancer journey. Like, how does, like, because it endures a lot and takes a lot out of you. One of my best friends, she had cancer, I believe, in, like, her knee or something crazy like that. So it's like, it's no joke. It's no nonsense. But you are an individual who are a survivor. She survived as well. Speak to that. What specific cancer did you have?
So I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer stage 3, dysgerminoma. And it's a very rare cancer that only 5% of people get in the world. And I happen to be one of the people that ended up getting it. Yeah. And yeah, it was stressful.
How did it? For sure. One question that I had specifically written down is that you were giving 1 year to live.
Yes.
A lot of people say, well, this is what we would do, da 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 da. What would you do in your 1 year? You actually was saying, hey, you have 1 year. So I want to know specifically what was on your 1 year plan, thinking in your mind, like, hey, if I have 365 days, I'm going to do X, Y, and D, spending it doing this.
So the main priority for me when they told me you have 1 year left to live was, how can I stay alive with energy? I do not want to live my last year of life in a bed. Yeah. Because the girls will see that.
Yes.
And I won't be able to be there for the girls or my family. And my family is so important to me. Yeah. So I couldn't. I'm like, how can I stay alive
and did you have to go through chemo?
Till my last day.
Did you have to go through chemo as well?
They suggested chemo.
Did you go through or no?
No, they recommended chemo. And I said I wasn't ready. Then, they continued to tell me that I need to do it. Lerubi, what are you waiting for? Yeah. Lerubi, like, do you need to speak to a counselor? What's happening? Lerubi, let's go. Let's get to the chemo. And I was just never ready for it. It terrified me to even think
I was gonna
that
say
I
any
wouldn't be able
specific
to be
reason
there
why.
for my family
Yeah.
or for myself.
Yeah.
Someone would have to do everything for me and for them.
Does the chemo? Because my coach, he had cancer as well. He ended up passing away as well. But did the chemo, from my understanding, fights off against cells, or speak to us? What exactly does the chemo do? Because it seems like you specifically said no, and it worked out for you. So I would, I'm
Well,
not being,
first of all, let
yeah.
me mention that I did have my cancer surgery in December
Okay.
2022.
Okay.
So I had my cancer surgery. They removed a 15 centimeter mass that was
Damn.
attached to my left ovary.
Mm-hmm.
They removed the left ovary, the left fallopian tube, and cancer cells that they found on top of the colon.
Dang.
And that was stage 3, either 3B or 3C, something
Yeah.
like that.
Dang.
Yeah. And
That's
then
crazy.
immediately I remember when we had an appointment, maybe like, was it 2 months later after the surgery? The 6 weeks later, I think, after the incision, because I had a C-section incision.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of, like, some people on my YouTube channel are like, oh, what do you mean you had a C-section? You didn't give birth to a baby. No. The surgeon told me it's a C-section, and
Yeah.
that's how they removed the mass.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're aware, like, having a YouTube channel, there's a lot of
Yeah.
comments, and then you try not to get into all of them,
Yeah. Sometimes you got to respond.
but sometimes, you have to respond. So I did that, and I remember going into that first appointment after the surgery, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm visiting the doctor. The doctor is gonna give me some solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I'll just have to take 3 chemo sessions. And no, when we were in there and she was explaining to me what was going to happen at that time, I had my other friend in there with me, and
Yeah.
I appreciate him so much. I haven't heard from him in a while. I miss you, and I appreciate you, my friend Edgar Felix. He was with me in that moment, and we were devastated in tears, my mom and I,
Yeah.
when she said you will have to take 3 months of chemotherapy, and it may turn into 6 months depending on how much you can sustain the
Yeah.
strength of the chemo, because it's going to hit
It's
you
going.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you weak.
And she said, oh, and let me explain to you what will happen. And I'm like, what will happen? She said, your organs will not work the same after chemo. You will have hearing loss. You will have possible liver damage. You will have numb hands. Basically, those 3, and I feel like one more. Oh, possibly you won't be able to have kids anymore, because I
Yeah.
still have 1 ovary left.
Okay.
So all these different things. Oh, you're gonna have to freeze your eggs, and I'm like, oh my god. So basically, I'm gonna take the chemo, and then all these things are gonna happen to me. And she said, yeah, but this is for your life, so you can stay alive.
Yeah.
And then I'm here thinking, I'm like, but what if I don't stay alive? Like, what if my body can resist the chemo? Because
Exactly.
the thing is that chemo, what it does to you is that your good cells and your bad cells will die. The purpose of chemo is to get rid of the cancer in your body.
Okay.
That's the purpose. But when it goes into your body,
Yeah.
it just like wipes out everything that's there. It has no favorites.
Yeah.
It's not just
It's
gonna
not
wipe
prejudice
out.
towards anything.
No,
Everything
no,
must
no
go.
favorites. It's not gonna just take away the bad cells. It'll take everything away. And that was hard for me to even imagine, to have to go through. But I do want to say that I appreciate the oncologist. I appreciate my surgeon, all the doctors that I've seen, all the oncologists, all the holistic doctors I've seen. I appreciate you all. And, I want to thank the oncologist for being there and not letting me feel like I didn't have any options. So
Yeah.
I want to make that known too.
No, for sure, and I'm sure you mean a lot to see you here today. From when were you diagnosed, and how long has it been since then?
So I was diagnosed during my surgery, December 15, 2022.
Okay. So
Right
it's been
now,
a short amount of
it's,
time then since then.
yeah, very short. Right
Yeah.
now, we're in April 2024,
Yeah.
and that's a short amount of time.
Yeah, it is a short amount of time. I'm
Like
thinking this is
what?
like 2015 or something for some reason.
Right.
This
No,
is
it's very
crazy.
short. It's very short,
That's like
and
yesterday in my
it's like
mind.
yesterday. So like literally like when they told me that I had 1 year left to live,
Yeah.
and remember like I went to like before the surgery I went to 3 different surgeons before choosing the surgeon, and then when I was told I had to do chemo, I went to another oncology office and I
Mm-hmm.
asked for their opinion. They said I have to do chemo. It's the same thing, and they told me
Yeah.
no matter what hospital you go to, you will be recommended that you do chemo and the
Yeah.
same one. Doesn't matter which one you go to.
Yeah.
And I said I didn't know. This is why I came to you, and I just felt so helpless. And so yeah, like when they gave me that 1 year to live, I wanted to make sure that I did everything I could to stay alive with energy till the last day of my year.
Mm-hmm. Which was when?
The last day of the year would have been December. Oh my God, 2023,
2023. Okay.
right? December 2023.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's what I'm saying. Like that's just yesterday.
wow, and we're
Yeah.
in 2024 April, so I'm living way past the year.
Yeah.
January, February, March, April, so a year and 4 months already.
Yeah.
Past the year. Wow.
That's crazy.
Thank you, God. And what else? So then, like, in that moment, I also knew that I had to live like there was no tomorrow. So each day, each moment to me was like the most special ever, and I really cherished it. And I just really thought like it'll be the last everything.
Yeah.
My last daughter's birthday, my last birthday, my last mom's birthday. Like the birthdays became so special.
Yeah.
And then I started to see all these cancer patients who had their journeys on YouTube, and I saw what they did, and here I am doing what I chose to do, following a holistic protocol while still visiting the oncologist and getting my numbers tested, my blood work, my cancer blood work,
Yeah.
by getting my scans. That's why I say I truly appreciate the oncologist, because I wasn't ready for chemo, but they still didn't abandon me. I didn't feel abandoned.
Yeah.
They still checked my blood work. They still checked me with the CT scans, the PET scans. I didn't feel lost. I didn't feel like alone. I felt lost and alone at times, but I still felt like I was being taken care of. And that all comes from God and the whole alignment, and how, one day I woke up and I knew that I just needed to heal with God in whatever way God told me to.
Yeah. I was going to say, because of your diagnosis, is that what transformed you into a health nut, a health connoisseur? I know you came with notes and the things that
Yeah, I
you
have
did.
notes.
I would definitely love for you to open that and read that off to us because, again, take out your notepads, ladies and gentlemen, audience,
Yeah.
because you did a holistic approach, and I don't want that to go over other people's heads to say, hey, look, I did something different. And again, I should read a disclaimer that you are not a certified blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But this is what worked for you.
Yes.
So we're just educating you, the
Yes.
audience. So what was those things that you
And
did?
so there's certain things that I did, but I want to say that even before the cancer healing journey, I was into health. I was
Okay.
into working out. I would have my green smoothies. I was driving people nuts on Instagram. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, have your smoothie in the morning and the evening.
She must be sponsored by them.
Yeah. I was not even sponsored. And, the whole thing of like healing the traumas, I think, of like becoming a single mom and like having to have that transformation
Yeah.
of being in my body and like taking action. And I did the gym, and then even before that, my modeling days,
Yeah.
I had to see what I was eating. I wanted to be healthy to watch my figure. I had to work out. So I was into this health thing like since as far as I can remember.
Yeah,
But obviously, when we become adults, sometimes we forget.
definitely.
We forget
I
because like sometimes you want to do this program, you want to do this to level up, and I ended up doing the teaching program, and that teaching program kicked my butt.
Yeah.
It kicked my butt, and I forgot that I needed to still choose myself. And I didn't choose myself. I chose the program 100%. You know, like,
Yeah.
can you imagine?
You
I was
bought in.
between I was in between two walls, like, single mom, my girls need me. I need to do this program. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. And that's what I did. I didn't sleep too much. I overlooked sleep. I didn't watch my health. And then after that, like after I finished the program, I graduated from my master's. I moved into my new apartment with the girls, which is something I wanted to do for them.
Yeah.
Like, woo! Single moms out there.
There
Woo!
you go.
I from there, like, soon after, I found out,
Okay.
Lerubi, you have cancer. So that's some of the things that I learned, like, from watching, like, other health experts in the cancer healing journey, like chrisbecancer.com,
Yeah.
and other people that inspired me in that sector. But I learned that you have to look at what was happening to your life prior to the diagnosis, and then you will see that most likely you had a big stressor in your life.
Yes.
And then the stress turned into cortisol, and cortisol, that hormone, leads into cancer.
That's why they say stress kills. It's a literal. It's a literal
Literally.
saying. Literal saying.
So I learned my lesson. I don't want to
Yeah.
ignore my health or not choose myself ever again.
So what were those things that you did? What was on the protocol sheet?
All right. So I have here, in the beginning, it's detox, nourish, and regenerate. So you want to detox your body from all that stress, all that food that you ate that probably wasn't good for you, or
Yeah.
anything you drank, or like any emotional connections that were toxic. You want to detox from all of that. You want to detox, then you want to nourish your body with your vegetables, your fruits, even fasting. You don't want to eat for a large amount of hours is going to nourish your body. Believe it or not, you would think like no food, no nourishment.
Yeah.
You're gonna get nourished. Your cells, your bad cells are going to turn into good cells.
Okay.
There's going to be a process called apoptosis,
Okay.
where like the bad cells are gonna eat, where the good cells are gonna eat the bad cells, and
Okay.
they're going to disappear. You also are going to see the regeneration of your body. Is going to regenerate all your cells. So the first thing I have, let me see how many I have. I have 2019, basically 20 with a conclusion. So I think I'll go quickly in it, and then if
Yeah.
anyone wants to know deeper about it, I've been coaching so far. I have 2 clients that I've coached. I'm very thankful for that, actually, because I didn't even know that I would be able to help in that level
Yeah.
with this happening to me. Like, my life was supposed to be over, and no, like, it's just like a growth and a reborn and like a rebirth, and to know that I can like help someone and they can see the light at the end of
Definitely.
the tunnel has definitely been something that inspires me every single day.
Giving back.
Giving back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to learn more about it, they could reach me. I'm sure at the
Definitely.
end you'll see. Okay. So number 1, sleeping enough to be rested. So you want to sleep enough to be rested. You don't want to sleep 3 hours
Yeah.
or 4 hours. You want to use your sleep as your magical superpower. Your body rests completely at night and you wake up like $1 million, like
Yeah.
ready to like take over the world. It's just amazing. And then from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., the cells in your body are regenerating.
Okay.
It's a key moment. So basically, between 10 and 2 a.m. is where humans get the most beneficial hormonal secretions and recovery. Our stress glands rest and recharge the most between 11 and 1. And melatonin production is highest from 10 to 2 a.m. So sometimes people take melatonin, right?
Okay. Yep.
You don't have to take that supplement. That supplement is your magical superpower that you get for free by going to sleep on time. You get that for absolutely free. And it regulates your circadian rhythm by going to bed at the same time each night. So basically, what I try to do is like, I'm in bed before 10 during the week, and that allows me to make sure that at 10 p.m., I'm in deep sleep. And my cells are running away into healing. You know?
Yeah.
Running away into healing. Number 2, eating a big bowl of cruciferous vegetables daily. So you want to eat the big bowl of these cruciferous vegetables. If you guys don't know what they are, they're broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, onions. Just get that all in there. You know, add some avocado. Number 3, juicing. You want to juice 5 cups of carrot juice daily, 5 times a week. You don't want to miss a beat on that. That was one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah.
Because remember, like, this protocol that I'm sharing here right now is not something that was like handed to me like, Lerubi, here you go. No, guys, it took a lot of research. It took a lot of time. I would go to bed at 2 a.m. And I didn't even do all the research by myself. My friend, Cesar, he would also stay up with me. He'll stay up with me over the phone or in person, and we're like looking up what things like to heal ovarian cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember like I would tell him, I'm like, seriously, in all honesty. And it's funny to think about it right now, but because I'm on the other side, right? And you guys can get on the other side, so you will be on the other side. Don't worry. Let me tell you that. You're going to be on the other side, and you're going to have your health back. But I would tell him, I'm like, am I going to stay alive? Do you think I'm going to live? I mean, they just gave me a year or less. Is it possible? And he said, yeah, you're going to stay alive. Yeah, hon, of course. I'm like, you're just saying that because you're my friend. That's not the truth. So just like he told me that I was going to get to the other side, I'm here to tell you guys, you will get to the other side, and it's the truth. It's the truth. You just have to believe in yourself, be persistent, be disciplined, follow a daily protocol, and you will make it. You will make it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Are you sure? Be sure. That's basically the message, you know?
No, that's for sure. You got to believe it. You have to. You have to. You had mentioned, obviously, the individual who's been there for you. And the audience does not know that one of those individuals is here with you right now. And if you don't mind, I would love to bring them onto the show with you as well. So come on over. Welcome to Conversations Over Chess podcast. All right. So, welcome to Conversations Over Chess. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
How's your day been going?
So far, so good.
I was going to say, so as it's been mentioned, you have been with Lerubi every step of the way in regards of her battle, right? One question that I wanted to ask of you is that where does that come from yourself? That love of I want to give, that love of I need to be there, I want to be there for this individual, irregardless of how much time she may have.
My father had cancer.
Okay.
And I always thought he's going to survive, you know, so I took it for granted at the time, and I hated doing it. I wish I was akin to all his appointments. I didn't. I was 17, so I was just playing around. Oh, he's going to survive. I really did believe he was going to survive. But what I feel was he wanted someone to be there for him, you know, to make him happy. And that's what it took away. Like, wow, I should have been there for him. Yeah. And like my aunt had cancer, my cousin had, so I'm, you know, like my whole.
Oh, you're.
I know the battle, I know the struggle. Yeah, I know all the stuff they go through and the uncertainty. Like she was, like I told you, you're gonna survive, and she didn't believe me. It's like you're gonna survive. I know what to do now. Like I know how to help. Back then, you're 17. My dad, he's good. He's gonna live forever.
Yeah. So did he end up passing from cancer?
He did, yes.
Okay. I can relate to that all too well because my uncle was dying of cancer. And I had just graduated with my associates, came back from college in Kansas, and you couldn't tell me nothing. And I remember vividly as he sat on, or as, you know how you're in like, what is it? Not when you're passing away and they'll, hospice. So when he was in hospice, I remember vividly walk by, go out, party, do whatever. I'm just coming.
You think he's going to live forever, yeah.
Exactly. And then I remember the day that he had passed away. And I think about that very vividly where it's just like, I didn't do much in those last days. We spoke probably very, vague, and we had our own relationship, stuff like that. But I can relate to that all too
Can
well.
I just mention that I feel like I experienced that? Like, I feel like Cesar knew already because he already went through it with his dad. So he knew not to take any moment for granted. But there was a moment in the beginning of my cancer healing journey where I felt like my own family, like, yeah, they were supportive and, they're there for me. And they were asking, oh, how are you doing, Lerubi? But I felt like they were taking for granted that I've been given 1 year or less. And I'm like, are you
Yeah.
noticing? Like, I'm about to leave. Like, like,
Yes.
hello, like, wake up. Like, help me do research. How else can you help me? Help me. I need hands.
Yes.
Because you need hands to juice. You need hands to make salads, to make these things, to go buy more tea. I used a lot of teas too. You need
Yeah.
hands. You need a lot of minds. You need people to be there for you and genuinely care
Yeah.
without anything in return. And I was like, guys, are you here? Are you here? And, there was a moment where I noticed where they woke up and they were like,
Yeah.
it is a year. It is a year or less. And they
Yeah.
just woke up and I'm so grateful for that.
No, for sure. My uncle had my aunt. Coach McMillan had Mrs. McMillan. Carrie, who had cancer, had her boyfriend Latre.
Wow.
She had you,
Wow.
along with her camp, right? What were some of the things that you guys had learned during the process? Just going through that 1 year of saying, "Hey, this is it. We're gonna beat this. We're gonna beat this together." What were some of those things?
Discipline. Like
Okay.
you need discipline. Like I always tell her, stop your cheating moments. Because I said, no, I told her, no carbs. Stop having carbs.
Okay.
But as I have my cheating moments, like stop your cheating moments, because there was a point where her levels went up, but she had
The
her
cancer blood levels.
right
Yeah.
went up because she just said, listen, it's fine because you had a little cheating moment. Don't worry about it, but just stop, so for sure we
Yeah.
don't go through that scary phase anymore. Yeah, discipline and believing. Like I have a big sign on my living room that says believe. Or wake up and say believe. I gotta believe. Yes,
Yeah.
I believe myself especially.
How much of that burden of seeing an individual, let's just say that it was a hard set, God forbid, 1 year, how much of a toll does that take on you in bearing that? Because my
Right.
aunt had to endure so much. Latre had to endure so much. And again, that was my uncle, but it's just like, I still felt the way, like, dang, like, I can't do nothing about it, right? I want to help. I want you to live forever, but it's nothing that I can do. How much of that burden on you? How much did that affect
Um,
you?
well, I didn't follow. I just knew I had to be there for her if she wanted, because you always want someone to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was out. I just chose, okay, I'm going to be. If you need me, I'll go to all your appointments. I'll go to all your appointments, even if I had to. And I do. I take off. Like
Yeah.
I took off today. Like yeah. So I know.
Shout out to all employers.
So I just knew, like, you have to, I just got to be there for her.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest, like, I wanted to send her flowers at first. Like, no, that's stupid. Everyone does that. I'm going to give her my time. The most
Yes.
valuable asset I think any human has is time.
Yes, and that's what we started off by saying is big on time.
Yeah.
One thing that I would be remiss to say is that a lot of individuals may take that opportunity or may take that time for granted. So how much of having him there made a difference for you? Just to give him his flowers.
It made like all the difference. I mean, like how could someone like just take time from their own life, like get away from their own life
Yes.
to help someone who was given like 1 year to live and to look at them in the face and say like you're gonna
Yeah.
make it. Like it meant the world to me. Like I needed someone like there, like constantly there every day reminding me that it was going to be okay, and like because otherwise you'll get lost in your head.
I used to tell her that too. Don't get lost in your head.
Yeah.
I noticed when I was talking to her, like middle of the night, like, okay, relax, step back. That's not
Inhale,
going to happen.
exhale.
Yes.
Yeah, he would notice like, oh, it's happening. Where are you going?
Yeah.
My mind would shift. It would get like from out of the focus to like, it's over. I'm done.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is not gonna work.
What's so funny enough is that Rochelle Jones, shout out to Rochelle Jones. When I used to live in Salt Lake City, Utah, she worked out there for a company. She and I met, and she told me something that really has been stuck with me for the rest of my life. Is that she said, "It's not money, it's not the wealth, it's not what you think, but the number one leading factor of what makes you live longer is friendship."
Yes.
That's gonna
friendship.
resonate on me too.
It's
Absolutely.
friendship. It's not the things that you think and you care about. It's literally that
No, yeah.
camaraderie.
And that was part of my healing journey. Having Cesar on my corner, like having my mom, having my brother, having my dad, having my daughters, Angelina and Isabella, and they were so nice. You guys are bad now. But last year, you guys were so nice. They were like the most well-behaved girls, and Mom,
Yeah.
are you okay? So like having all this support made the difference for me to stay alive.
Yes.
As opposed to if I would have chosen like, I don't want to talk bad about the other direction that you can choose because
Definitely.
I don't have anything
Power of the
negative to
tongue.
say about it,
Power of the tongue.
right? But if I would have chose the other direction, it would have been like more isolated in terms of like
Yeah.
I would have so many symptoms that it would be hard for me to go out into the world.
No, for
but being
sure.
that I chose this holistic route, I was able to be surrounded by so many friends and family, and they even helped me like so much. Like my neighbors, my mom's friends, they made salads for me.
Yeah.
They made sure that my salad tray was full in the fridge. They made sure that I had my cruciferous vegetables. I would like take a shower because we had an appointment like multiple times a week at one point. And I would make sure that like, I'm taking a shower when I get ready. Oh, I'm going to go do the juice after. When I would come out of the bathroom,
Yeah.
my carrot juice was already made. I just made my celery juice. And I'll be like, oh my God, thank you. Like, you don't know how much that meant to me. So it was just like such a peaceful, loving moment, but sad at the same time
Yeah.
that I can't even describe. And I wish I can describe it to you guys, but
It
for
makes
those
the
of us
difference.
that went through cancer, like, or like had someone that went through cancer, we know what it
It
was,
makes a
and
difference
it makes a
for
huge
sure.
difference.
And the difference of speaking life into somebody really just, even if it does end up being the opposite where it is they're in, they had a better moment going towards it instead of it just being all down and moping and all of that. And I don't know it to be true, but do your research, audience, but I'm almost certain that it's just like there's a thing in the world that if you get to the point where you think you're sick, your body can physically get
Oh, yeah.
sick. And that's where it's like, that's where it becomes important of saying who's in my corner, speaking life to me during this journey. And not even when it's dealing with cancer, that's in every journey in life.
Every journey.
Who's in my support? The company you keep was always preached to me as a kid. It is the company you keep.
Tony Robbins says, like, we are the sum of the 5 people that you have around you.
That's right.
That's who you are, who you will become. They're in your immediate energy,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. 2 more questions. What was the most important piece of information you both had figured out all around the journey?
For me, it was the autophagy.
Oh, that was for you. Okay.
That was for me. Like, that's pretty much fasting and. Oh, it's fasting.
Okay.
It's the top. That's when you fast and your cells, like Lerubi was saying.
Apoptosis.
Okay.
They're right. That happens.
Yeah. So I started fasting last year. I do a 16/8 fast only because when I moved back from Utah to New York City, I literally could just breathe in air and had to take a bowel movement. I'm like, yo, I can't keep nothing down. I don't know what's going on in my stomach. So I was like, before I go to the hospital, let me just Google YouTube, whatever. And then it was like, you should try fasting. As soon as I started fasting, like bowel movements was good. I could keep stuff down. Like everything was great. So highly recommend fasting.
And talking about the bowel movements, like my first 3 months of my detox
Yeah.
with my celery juice every morning, 16 ounces of celery juice.
Yeah.
And, carrot juice didn't come into the mix right away. It was like a few months later that I found out carrot juice, like,
Yeah.
do it. And I read the study online and everything. But those first 3 months of my cancer healing journey, I was in the bathroom. I'm sorry, guys. It may sound like a little nasty, but this is important.
This is
important.
facts. Yeah.
You're gonna juice, and you will be in the bathroom, and it was just water.
Yeah.
Water. I would be out like visiting a school for my daughters because I'm still a mom, right?
Yes.
And I would have to like go see what school they're gonna be in or whatever, or this or that. And I remember I would have the urge. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, but it's important. It's so important. It was just like that detox, constant, to the point that in that time, I could have given up. I could have been like, I'm not gonna go through, excuse my language, diarrhea.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go through diarrhea. I'm not going to go through that. Let me just stop juicing. Let me stop. But I did not give up. I kept juicing. And after those 3 months, I had my new bowel movements.
There you go.
Who are now like full of life, like from all these vegetables.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It's crazy. And then for you, what was that one thing that you had, like the one most important key thing that you had figured out during that journey for just doing the research, getting the things in order to say, hey, I need a detox, I need to do a sanitary. What was that most important piece of information for yourself?
The most important out of all of them, even though a lot of them are important. Like, do I have to choose one?
You have to choose one.
You must, man, I feel like you can't leave some things out. You sure? Like, pick one?
If you don't have to if you don't want to. It says like you don't want to.
I want to.
So you have to then.
Okay.
Pick one.
You must juice carrot juice.
Carrot juice.
Juice carrot juice. Oh my God. 5 cups a day, 5 times a week. It will change your life. I read the study, guys. I read the study where they gave carrot juice to these rats that were in a lab. Okay. They had tumors inside of them. The tumors shrunk and the tumors disappeared on other rats. So I held on to that piece of information. I read a book. I read a summary of a book of, can't remember right now. I wish I had it, but it'll come back to me. Of this woman that she did the 5 pounds of carrot juice per day.
Okay.
She had like 2-3 tumors and they were pretty big in size. After like 7 weeks, then she returned to the office, the oncology office. Some of them had disappeared, some of them had shrunk. And they were like, we don't understand.
Carrot juice.
Yeah, and then like I read another review from this other person that I think they commented below her book. Her book is on Amazon.
Okay.
And the same thing happened. They did the 5 pounds of carrot juice per day. And last but not least, or 2 more, Chris beat cancer. He also did carrot juice daily, and it worked on him, amongst other cancer survivors that I saw their interview. Mm-hmm. And the holistic doctor, Ludwig Johnson, he also said to do 5 cups of carrot juice per day, 5 times a week. And I relayed the message back to my holistic doctor that I worked with. He said, go ahead, do it. And intuition. My intuition, I had a dream that it was beautiful. Everything I touched and every step I took, it all turned into carrots. So when I woke up, I remember waking up and I went to the kitchen. My mom was there, like my neighbors and my mom's friends. Because, you know, like we're all thinking this is the last moment, obviously, in that moment. And I was like, you guys, I had the most beautiful dream. What? I'm like, the carrot juice is going to work. Everything I touched, everywhere I stepped, it's going to work. It's going to work. And that was a key factor. But sleeping, so key. If you're in a cancer healing journey and you feel tired and you want to take a nap, go sleep. Because it's very likely that prior to being diagnosed with cancer, you did not have any sleep. You were not sleeping.
Yeah.
You want to take a nap? Go take a nap. Sleep before 10. So you could be asleep between 10 and 2 o'clock. And any toxic relationship, I don't care how close they are to you, get away from it. Get away from it. I'm telling you right now, even if you have to like take a break or whatever the case may be, and also knowing that you need to forgive. You can take a break from toxic relationships or individuals, but forgive.
Yes.
It's not like I'm taking a break. I don't ever want to see you again. Like, no. But you are also forgiving. Forgiving is key in healing.
Definitely.
Send them love.
And the forgiveness is really for yourself to relinquish all of that, because that's one thing I had to learn on my own journey of forgiveness is like, yo, they don't even care. They don't even know that you're hurt.
They don't even know that you're hurt. So why are you hurting?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. The one question that I have, and then we'll go to the official podcast last question, is that the very first photo on your Instagram is a wall of inspiration, and I have it right here, and I'll show it to the both of you.
Oh my God, what?
The very first post on your Instagram is this right here. You both could take a look at it.
Oh my God.
And for the audience, I'll be sure to
Oh.
put it up on screen.
No way. That's
Wow.
The very first Instagram post. You have 1,000+ posts.
That was the first one?
And the question is for you is who or what inspires you now? For the both of you to answer. That very first photo. Your very first Instagram reel is of your daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughters definitely inspire me.
Yeah.
They inspire me so much. And I want to say my mom as well. I'm just like so inspired. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm inspired by who they are, who they want to be. And like you said, like, are they looking up to me? And they tell me, they're like, Mom,
Yeah.
I want to be an actor. Like, I like singing. I like
Yeah.
dancing. And I'm like, oh. And you said, and what else inspires
Who
those
who
two?
or what
And
inspires you?
what? And then also the what is, I have to say, the cancer healing journey inspires me. It inspires me because it forces me in an aligned way, not in a forceful way. Like,
Yeah.
it aligns me to making sure that I stay present and I choose myself and I choose my health so that then I can love others, right?
Yes.
If I don't pour into myself, I don't choose myself, I cannot love others. And the cancer healing journey inspired me to have like a reason to inspire others. Because now if anyone needs help with cancer
Yeah.
and like, you know, staying like motivated and knowing it's going to be okay, like I can be that light for them. And that makes me feel like amazing. Like I thought I already knew everything I wanted to do with my life. Like you said, like I
Yeah.
like all these, I want to do all these things and I've done all these things, but this is something that I feel like I've been called to do
There you go.
as well. Like
It's outside
it
of you.
really inspires me.
There you go. And then what about yourself? Who or what inspires you?
It's been a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like first my dad, of course, my dad, and then my grandfather,
Okay.
and now most recently is my brother.
Okay.
You know, because he does it all. Like he doesn't stay. He has his own house. You know, he lives in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. He has kids. But he has this green. People always judge him because he has this mean grill. You know,
Yeah.
but he's the sweetest teddy bear. And I notice like, who cares what people think about you? Just do it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
about them. You know, they have a problem, not you. So just
Yeah.
keep doing what you got to do. So I
Definitely.
was like, yeah, who cares what people think? And at the end of the day, they're not buying me Christmas presents.
Very
You know,
true.
Like, who cares?
Very
So
true.
definitely my brother. Like, he just does what he has to do. And don't let anyone tell him no. Like, I'm doing it. Like,
All right. All right. The last question that we always end the podcast with, and you can answer both if you like. One question is, what is your favorite chess piece and why? And the last question also we end the podcast with is, we want you to look into your camera and imagine that the entire world is watching. Germany, Brazil, we got Spain, everybody in the world is watching. What would be some advice? What would be some advice to save them some heartache and pain? You can answer both, you can answer one, but that is what we end the podcast with. The entire world is watching. What would be some advice to hit and to give them to save them some heartache and pain?
yeah,
You're ready.
I like the pawn
Okay.
Okay.
because it could grow to be anything.
Okay.
That's what I like.
A lot of people often say a different piece, so I like whenever I hear the pawn.
No, right. I'm thinking queen, but no, I want to grow. I wasn't born a queen or a king.
There you go.
I was one of these guys, and I have to grow to be something. That's the way I look at it.
There you go.
And wow, what the give the world's a dope. Because I'm in the stoic phase. I noticed this phase of my life has been the easiest so far.
Okay.
Because I could think clearly. I don't let emotions get in the way
Yeah.
of common sense. So definitely calm down. Don't let stuff around you, environment, like bother. I mean, sure, you can interact with it, but don't let it penetrate you deep. You know, just stay focused and just stay as stoic as possible. Like you make, I think, the best decisions when you don't let emotion get in the way.
I like that. I'm a very emotional person. So I like that. I had to learn to control my emotions. And then what about yourself? The entire world is watching. What would be your advice to save them some heartache and pain?
Well, first of all, I would say, like, from the top of my head, choose yourself. Again, like, I feel like I've been saying it throughout the whole entire conversation, but choose yourself. Because if you don't choose yourself and you don't learn how to make yourself happy, you can't leave that responsibility onto someone else. That's your responsibility. So whatever it takes, be present in your life, choose yourself, and be happy, really. Like, be happy, find the joy in every moment, and be grateful. Find what you're grateful for in every moment. And I want to say, like, from the notes of what I wrote here, like, I think it's worth mentioning. You want to, like, take care of your emotional self, your emotions, because your emotions are going to affect your cells. Mm-hmm. It's going to affect your cells, however you may take it. And it was interesting, I heard recently, like, we could say, like, oh, stress, like, is terrible for me and it helps me perform the worst. Or you could also say, like, oh, I perform good under stress and I'm going to do it anyways. Like, that's also a perspective to have. But obviously, still sleep, still take care of yourself and of your health, your physical state. Take care of your body and the energies that you allow into your life, right? It's the people and the energy, it's real. And you got to be careful with your physical health, right? So yeah, like, working out is amazing and it's great for you, but also, like, the people you allow into your life, that's part of your physical health. Spirituality, like, invest in your spiritual self. There's something higher than us. It's not just us. Like, we're being led and aligned by something greater than us. Believe it. And your mental state, work on your mental state. How can you be more grounded and, like, more stoic, as Cesar was saying, right? What can you do to achieve that? And in a sense, become unshakable, like Tony Robbins says, right?
There you go.
So let's think about that. Let's learn about that. Because we may not have all the answers right now, but if you work on it, you will, and you'll realize it. So you need to be aware of your consumption. What are you consuming? What information are you consuming? What foods are you consuming? What experiences and people are you around or in, right? What experiences are you in? What people are you allowing into your life, right? What people do you have around you? You can choose. It's not a given. It's your choice. Mm-hmm. You are valuable. So, like, understanding that you are valuable, it's your choice. And you can choose these things to be positive or negative in your life. It's all up to you.
Simple as that, folks. Thank you for joining me for Conversations Over Chess. It's been a great episode. I appreciate you both.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I truly
I enjoyed this episode for real. I enjoyed it. We were all over. Emotions was
everywhere.
Everywhere. See you guys in the next episode of Conversations Over Chess. Peace.
Bye.
Nothing ever comes to a sleeper but a dream. So I'm woke, try and get that money any means. Used to watch mom sweat them clothes to get them clean. Grew up in the slums, ain't shit that I ain't seen. And it's still free, all the guys till they free. Couple niggas crippin' and the others throwing bees. One thing for sure, they gon' all ride for me. Cause we ain't never phased no gang family. Damn, what a blessing, all them low nights had me stressing. Praying to the maker.